Welcome everybody back to Horror Chata. It is me, D-Notes.
And Jess.
We are back this week with a special episode. Normally we don't do like sci-fi stuff really, but so we try to usually do like more horror inspired movies, but because this movie just came out and it is based off a classic series, we are doing Prey, which is basically a prequel to Predator.
hmm
Um,
And
and
I
this,
only suggested it because it was trending and it was like, oh, everybody's hyping this movie
yeah.
up. So we gotta watch it. And I don't want to give too much away, but I was not a big fan. So I'm in the minority. And if there's any other people that feel this way, please let me know because I don't want to be by myself in this little corner of the
Yeah.
world.
So I'm just gonna right off the bat say that I didn't love the film, but I didn't hate it. So I'm like kind of like right down the middle of it. I'm okay with it being a like, basically a straight to TV special or a straight to Hulu special.
hmm
Um, but you know, um,
You should say it was directed by Dan Track. How do you say his last name? Trachtenberg. I want to mention this specifically because he did The Boys and 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I love both of those things. Specifically, lately, The Boys is such a great show. I'm sure many of people already watched it, but it's so bloody and gory, and I could definitely see some of those bloody, gory elements in Prey, which I did
yeah,
appreciate.
yeah. There
So,
was so I think like it's funny as we're like just started talking this about this film because a buddy of mine literally just right now sent me a picture of Pocahontas staring at Predator.
that's awesome.
So
That girl looks so badass, though. I want to say her name. I forgot her first name, but I know the last name. Like, how can I forget? It's like Mid Thunder or something like that.
oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
Um,
she was awesome in it.
yeah, it's funny is so recently we did an episode of my own podcast about a Oakland A's player and his name is Skybolt.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like,
Very cool.
I said that he was processed through the smoke of peyote.
That's
So I was like,
pretty funny. I
anyway,
love that.
yeah, so
His origin story.
yeah, his origin story and Skybolt and the Thunderclouds, but
Pretty bad.
yeah, so this movie just came out. It's like I said, it's a prequel to Predator, and there is a lot to talk about in this film. I think I want to start off with some of the positives. For one, the sceneries were flawless.
Oh, they were very visually stunning, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, this is like Nat Geo stuff. Like, this is
It
sick.
looked beautiful. I agree. Like I feel like when I saw the breeze going through the trees, I felt like I felt the breeze. Like I could picture myself in the middle of the woods with a cool breeze, and I just like that's really cool.
I totally want to walk those trails and stuff. Like check it out.
It was gorgeous. I was like, are they in like Yosemite or something? It was beautiful.
I don't know, but it was like I was like, what? I've never seen like it that clean looking,
Mhm.
anywhere. But I don't ever go anywhere, so um, I just thought it was really funny. Or not funny, but like visually, like
Interesting.
holy shit.
Stunning.
So
Yeah.
that's like the one of the biggest things, and uh,
I think
I love how they use like a lot of like it looks like they actually use like Native American.
that's what I was gonna add too. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I wanted to read a little bit off the website Rotten Tomatoes. It says this is the first time that a movie has ever been done completely in our language. Jane Myers revealed, and it's the first time that a native language is used in a brand new right off the box movie. As Trachtenberg explains it, there's the English Comanche hybrid being released to Hulu, which is the one that we watched
yeah.
that most people will see, but there's a separate Comanche cut that will be made available as well. I think that's so cool.
I heard
Like
about
I
that.
don't think
Yeah.
I've ever heard of too many movies being released in like indigenous
So is that
languages. I
just
mean,
gonna
I'm
be like
sure there are. I
subtitled?
think my one of my coworkers told me about one of them, but I don't know. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah. Is that gonna be like subtitled or
Yeah.
okay? But yeah. So you're right. I probably talked to the same coworker, but um,
Also, Amber Midthunder said to prepare for this production, she and the rest of the cast attended a 4-week boot camp where they learned weapons training and worked closely with the movie stunt team. But prep work can only go so far, and as Midthunder explained it, the shoot was full of challenges. She goes on to say, honestly, there's no way that you can prepare for going through everything that was involved in the making of this movie. She added, there were mud pits, there were monsters, there were rivers, there were so many things like ash, smoke, and stuff like that. There's so many different things that so many characters experience that you just kind of can't prepare. I thought that was like the fact that she said that, because like in the movie you can see like she's putting her body through a lot of physical exertion,
Oh yeah,
and like, girl, that cannot be me, but kudos to you.
yeah,
No, I got it. You see, that's the thing. Like, I didn't like love the movie. In fact, I didn't like the movie. I find myself kind of snoozing a little bit. But the scenes that were full of action, I found myself paying a little bit more attention just because she looked very coordinated, and like the way it was shot too was like nice. And yeah, I kind of have a lot of respect for her now.
yeah. I felt like half the movie was kind of boring. Like honestly, like it
Yes,
kind of
yes.
dragged for a while until
Eh.
like the predator actually shows up to like start fighting the natives.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that like all the fighting scenes, I felt like it felt real to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
like well they're naturally warriors and hunters, so
Yeah.
like they're trained to fight and they're trained to kill, right? So I felt like it was a style of fighting that like felt real to me, as far
Mm-hmm.
as like defending yourself and stuff. So and then um although there was like some things I was kind of like not so great about, like some of the CGI was kind of like
Yeah.
shifty.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like I don't want to be too much of a hater because like obviously you have to CGI a real bear, like or sorry, a bear to like attack. Like you
Yeah,
can't have a real ass bear attacking like a person or even an alien. I mean you have to well, it looks like actually for the alien it was like both, right? It was like a person and then it was also like a CGI version, or did
uh,
they add CGI to him? I don't know.
I think CGI probably.
Yeah, yeah. That
But
part
like
I
the cat,
kind of
like for instance, like the cat was or the tiger or whatever, it was like I was like,
it was cheesy.
yeah. And like even the ship in the beginning, I was like,
Yeah, yeah, there were scenes too that I could have done without those. I guess it's kind of hard to do or
yeah.
to yeah. So
Well,
that I
especially
didn't
like
want
if you don't have like a huge budget, I'm sure their budget was good, but it wasn't like they can't like put too much emphasis on like one thing.
yeah,
So
because it was straight to Hulu, and also I mean there was not a lot of locations that changed either. So I'm sure they like you said the budget probably wasn't that big, so they had to like just shoot like only in a few locations and like do take a few liberties with the CGI, I guess, and I mean
mhm.
do with what they could, right?
Yeah, yeah. So uh, but like there was other things I liked about the film as well, as like kind of like the how the system of the natives lived, like the women were like the gatherers and stuff like that, or just kind of taking care of stuff in the village. The men will go on hunts, and they were kind of like and she was like, well, nah, dude, like I can hunt just as good as you guys. So I kind of like that power struggle
Mm-hmm.
throughout the film, and she was obviously badass the entire film.
Yeah.
And
But
she
I think it's cool that she was a badass, but like she didn't start off that way. Like the whole journey she struggled like
yeah,
almost every single step of the way. But what I give her a lot of credit to is that she had a lot of confidence even from the beginning. Like her brother kept telling her, "You don't know how to hunt. You don't know how to hunt." And like that's gonna wear on you, and I'm sure it did wear on her, but she still kept trying and trying and trying until she was finally successful as we see in the end of the movie. And actually, the end of the movie, not just because it was the end of the movie and I was excited the movie was over, it was a good scene. It was actually a
yeah,
really good scene. I was like, oh, I think I'm actually moved. Like, I was actually moved. Because to be honest, throughout this whole movie, I didn't really, like, like I said, I do care about the female character, the female lead, and I did care about the brother, and I did care about the tribe. But I didn't really like, I didn't feel moved. And I don't think this movie was trying to do that though. So, I don't know.
and then let's see. I guess so. As the movie progresses and stuff, it kind of takes a turn where like, were they like Frenchmen or what were they?
Yeah, I think they were French.
Okay. Well, when they like,
Colonizers? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
when they show up, I was like confused.
yeah. Because they were hunting, they were also hunting the predator, right?
I don't think they were just hunting the predator. I think they were just checking out the land or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They weren't
Yeah.
really clear, but like,
Oh yeah, because they ended up like catching her, like probably to have her like
and
as
one
a
of the
slave.
well, one of
Natives.
one of the natives there, he was held hostage as well. And then, but then they think they did find out about predators, so they were trying to like set a trap.
Uh-huh.
And obviously the predator slaughters like the entire squad,
Hmm.
small tribe of them.
It was kind of fun to see the Frenchmen being like annihilated.
Hunted, yeah,
That was
it
pretty
was pretty,
cool.
it was sweet.
Yeah. And, like I think we learned like throughout the movie that basically the alien didn't really think she was a threat, so everybody else was a threat except her. So I thought that was funny because she's like the one on the hunt, but she's technically still like the name of the movie Prey.
What was that?
Oh, I forgot what I said.
That
Um,
it sounded like it cut out for a second. I was like, what the hell?
oh, she was what like at the end. You see, I just didn't enjoy the movie. It was so
Yeah.
boring for me. It was like a snooze fest. Um, I almost regret like choosing this movie, but I don't know. The internet kind of got to me, and they're like hyping it up. And I'm sure for a lot of people it was amazing because I keep going through the reviews and I can seldom find any bad ones, and it's just me and like other like two people, and I'm just like I don't get it. I
I
think
felt
it's just
like, in my actually in my opinion and a friend of mine's opinion, like I felt like this story could have been dragged out as like a mini series.
I could
I
see
feel
that.
like it could have gone longer and it could have like had a little more story to it.
Hmm.
I feel like it would have been nice to see like a sort of like a back and forth, between the tribe and the predator like coming around and stuff like that, or even just like a mini series of like maybe every episode would be like a different era.
And maybe learning more about like the background of like the natives. That would be kind of cool too, like their stories. Her we didn't really kn know much about her except that she didn't have a dad and that her mom was kind of I mean, she was
Yeah.
kind of putting her in her place all the time like no, you can't be a hunter, you have to be a gatherer. Yeah.
Well, I just feel like, yeah, maybe like a couple episodes on the natives, and then it can go like the next like 50 years until where the settlements come in and stuff like that. The predator comes back and starts hunting again, or a predator comes back
Uh-huh.
because like in one of the other films, you find out that the predators like they live on a sort of like a Egyptian pyramid kind of planet where
That's
like
kind of wild to me.
yeah, so that's so
But that's the thing too. I think that's why I think this is a movie for I don't think this is a movie if you're not into like a lot of action, which I'm not. If you're not into a lot of alien stuff, which I'm not, and especially if you're not into any of the Predator movies, I feel like this is not a movie for those people. I feel like you have to at least know some lore, or I don't know. What do you think? Do you have to know any lore to like it, like to appreciate it more?
mm, no, I don't. Um, I think I appreciated it more because I've seen all the other movies,
Yeah.
and I like the direction they took this one because
Hmm.
some of the other ones are just like you would be like, "What the hell am I watching?"
Hmm. Yeah.
So I like this one just because like it's different from some of the other ones.
I keep hearing that like it's unique, it's like its
Yeah.
own kind of thing, but it still like gives nods to the old ones, which that's
Well,
cool.
it for sure does because especially with the fighting, like how the original with Arnold and and she's like the lesser version of Arnold, because she's
Hmm.
small. She's like a teenager
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But she still whoops his ass, at the end. Um,
Which I saw a funny meme about that. Like it was kind of mean. Also, I'm not. There's some people that are saying like messed up things about the movie that they don't like it because like there's a lot of indigenous people, which obviously that's not where I'm coming from. I just didn't like. I don't like alien movies, period. Except
uh,
for Alien, I guess. And even then, I still have to rewatch that one. But I saw this meme of like oh like Arnold and his whole like team come in and like take on the alien and this little girl with like no experience somehow she manages to like slay him. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I just thought that was kind of funny because I'm like, yeah, that's true. How does everybody else die and like she's I think I know the answer though. I think she was able to outsmart people and outsmart
yeah,
the alien itself, right? I think that's what a lot of people don't. It's not just
that's
about
100% what it
muscles.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just about muscles and brawn. It's about brains too,
Well,
which
Arnold
got
outsmarted him
die.
at the end too, though. He like because the in the 80s it was believed that mud would cover up the thermal. So
Mm. Yeah,
he
so there's
like
way more lore that I don't know.
which I think is inaccurate. I think thermal could actually be read even with mud on you.
through the mud. Okay.
Yeah. So uh, so he like slathers himself all with mud, right? And it reduces his body heat, so the predator can't see him like through the mask. So he like tricks him that way.
Oh. So that's why that whole thing where she eats that plant or she gives that plant to other people to cool them down,
Yeah.
like unbeknowingly, like that's actually what saves like some people. And also in one of the scenes where she's like in that quick mud or that she's sinking in the mud, is it a nod to that scene where he covers himself in mud, do you think?
I think they were like teasing it,
Mm-hmm.
even though nothing really happened out of it. But or at least they were teasing that like she's gonna get the predator stuck in that mud, into
Oh,
that swamp thing or whatever that thing was.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we like we said we're gonna keep this one short, but
I know. I feel like I don't have a lot of things to say except for the fact that I like Trachtenberg's other stuff. I really love 10 Cloverfield Lane. I love The Boys. That show's amazing. You
yeah,
need to
yeah.
watch it if you haven't. Um,
So I feel like this was a good addition to like the Predator like anthology.
mhm.
Um, I know you've never seen the other one, so like this is all you've seen so far. So you're just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I know. Should I give the first one a chance?
Nah, maybe at least the first one.
It's like cheesy, right? Like a cheese, but I
Oh, of
like a good
course.
cheese fest.
Yeah, yeah. It's totally 80s cheesy.
I
Like
like that kind of
get
stuff.
to the chopper.
Yeah, I
Kind
know
of thing.
that's that. I think I should watch it just
Yeah.
to, yeah,
So
and then I'll come back and then I'll have a little addendum and be like, I watched the first Predator. Is it called Predator, right?
just
Uh,
Predator. Yeah.
yeah, and this is my thoughts on it, like a little side blurb, but yeah.
But they totally get slaughtered on the first one too. Like he does the same thing. He like fucking outsmarts them all, until Arnold, and then he just like beats the shit out of them until like the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the same vein. It's kind of like a nod to the original, and like I guess other people have been saying. So, but I do like. I thought, you know, it felt like most of this made sense to me. Like everybody getting their ass whipped because this is like the Predator has new technology, and he's like he's
Oh,
utilizing it. So
that's the thing I appreciated too. I saw like because I was trying to understand the movie more and like maybe appreciate it more, and people were saying like they appreciated the movie because like it's very stripped down, like going back to basics where you have these like 18th century weapons going against like super developed technologies,
yeah,
and they were still able to defeat the alien. I mean that's pretty badass. So like there's elements where I'm like, oh wow, like I didn't even consider that. Like that's actually pretty
like I
cool.
actually started cracking up when like the Frenchmen like they all shot at him and he like put his shield up and then they all had to like redo their muskets.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
Exactly. It's
dying. I
like
was like, yes.
they're just like antiquated, like behind. Even too, there was a scene where she tried to use the gun and it didn't work, or he tried
I
to
don't
use
think
the
she
gun.
caught the hammer back. I think that's what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Or there might
but
have been not been enough gunpowder, but it was like I don't think she caught it back that the guy told her to. He
hmm
told her he's like you got to push pull the hammer back, and I don't think she did it. I think she tried to squeeze the trigger, but I thought that was fun that she like shot him in the head at like twice.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I don't
Oh,
know. I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't love the movie. I thought it was good.
do you think that it deserves the hype that it's getting online? Do you like? Do you understand the hype? Because
I
I don't.
understand the hype. I
I
definitely
don't.
do because I've seen some of the other Predator movies that were like terrible, and
Okay, so this one like. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't give it a fair shot. I don't
if
think
you
I want to
saw
watch.
some of the other ones, you would have been like, okay, I see why this one's like getting more hyped up.
Like you could tell that I will say that you could tell with this movie they did try. Like
Oh yeah,
it doesn't look cheap or it looks like we said visually is stunning. Like we kind of like the journey of the girl, so I can appreciate those elements. I
I
just
think this movie had the best story out of the bunch.
yeah, because it gives you like more like you it gives you like a character to root for like a lot. 'Cause she's like
Yeah.
the underdog and everybody wants to root for the underdog.
Oh yeah, and
And I really liked the relationship with her and her brother too. Like even though he was kind of a dick to her in the beginning, he always kind of believed in her.
yeah, that was a good element to it.
Yeah, and I guess we shouldn't spoil anything, or I don't think we spoiled this movie at all. I think that's why it's gonna
No,
be short too, because we're
yeah,
trying. I guess since this recently came out, we're not trying to spoil it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think it's worth going into spoils. What do you
no,
think?
But there, the only other thing I will say is, for one, I love how they made this Predator look because they're so like predators are like in a sense like humans. We're all the same genetic, but like we look different.
Hmm.
And the same thing with the predators, like like the facial structure was just a little bit like maybe elongated. I don't know, but it was a little bit different from like the original and like even some of the other iterations of it. But I like the way that they changed it just a little bit to where you're like, oh, that's a different looking predator, but it's it's the same concept. It's the same being. It's just a different like maybe he's like a cousin or something. I mean, who does he look like?
Good cousin.
But like you can tell it's like the same species. It's just like just slightly different. So I thought I appreciated that too. But I also appreciated the I guess like the buffalo skull they used for like
That was pretty cool the way he
the
attached it
mask.
to his face.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I'm not
I
gonna
was like,
lie.
oh shit! I think that's like probably one of my most favorite things of the movie was the
The
buffalo.
alien did look really cool. Like I will
Yeah.
say that. He kind of reminded me though of like those 90s goth ravers. Do you know what I'm talking about? What are they called? Cyberpunk. He looked like a cyberpunk,
Oh,
which is
yeah, but I
cool.
mean, he's looked like that since the '80s though. So
Yeah, damn. So he
just
started the trend
some
after
alien Jamaican dude.
yeah. No, he looked cool.
Yeah,
Um,
he's always a badass. But the movies itself were the other ones are just like so. This one I felt was like right in the middle. I guess. I know
so
you didn't like it, but I gave it a I don't know, probably average.
I think, yeah, like I said, with I think because I don't have any information because I'm not into the lore. I think for me, yeah, it was like a C. Like it was not like a bad. Like technically, I could look at this movie and it's like I just think it's not a movie for me. You know,
Yeah,
I think it's a film for a lot of people, but not for me.
I'm like teetering between like a C plus and a B minus.
I would say for you, B minus. I mean, especially with
Yeah.
all the hype that it's getting, like I can understand people's perspectives on it.
Yeah, I think some of the visuals I was like totally blown away with them. Like I think that's like the biggest part I took away from it. I was like, okay, they like filmed some really cool spots and
Actually, too, and some of the camera work too. Like there was that
yeah,
scene on the tree. And that scene in the tree was really cool. Like there was a silhouette, and then also like they did this really cool overhead shot, and the way the camera turned. I don't know. Like
you
I
can tell
appreciate
some of
the
those
camera
angles were
work.
like really hard to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, that's freaking cool.
And
Like
that's what makes him a great director, though. He
yeah.
can like pull those some of those scenes off, and you're just like, oh, dude, I want to learn how to do that, or like I want to be a part of that scene. Like,
And
but
also like I think it gives more credence to the fact that this movie was made because people actually care. It wasn't made like carelessly just to like make money. It was
yeah,
made like people were actually like putting
they put
their
some heart into it
yeah, they put some heart into it, and
for
that
sure.
I can appreciate. Like, even as someone who didn't enjoy it, I could still like acknowledge all those things and not like shit on it for just being a hater. Because I know that, like I said, there were some people that were just for because they like to be haters. People before the movie came out were already saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a bad movie," blah blah blah, blah. And
But I mean, that's the internet.
that's true.
It's like it doesn't matter. There's just it doesn't matter what it is. Like, there's always gonna be someone that's trolling.
Yeah, do a little trolling.
I mean, people just suck, dude. Like,
They do fucking suck,
you
man.
know, like you can
Yeah.
have a masterpiece and someone's gotta criticize
Oh
it.
no, all the time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like always, and that's the thing too. Like sometimes, like I watch movies and they don't always have to be bangers. Like I could watch a movie that I don't enjoy and I could say, you know what? Yeah, I watched that movie and it wasn't my cup of tea, but if you liked it, that's totally cool. You
yeah.
know? I
There's
feel
some
like
terrible movies where I'm like, but at least there was a couple scenes in that I was like, oh, that's original, or something
mm-hmm.
like that. Like I don't shit on a movie just to shit on a movie.
Just to
Like
shit
I
on
look
it.
for the good
Yeah.
things, and
I feel like some people get off on that, just like being like so shitty just because they saw a movie that they think that is so bad. And granted, I feel like there are some movies like that,
yeah,
but even then, like this movie was not that. Like it wasn't a shitty movie. It wasn't a terrible movie. It just didn't reach the right audience, like in me. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah. And like I said, I like his other work, so it's not like it's anything to say about like the way he directs or how it was written or the cast. The cast was my favorite thing. Like just
Yeah,
seeing the tribe,
great
like
cast.
seeing about how I think this movie too was a lot about community, and I think it's something that's so lost on us, like in 2022, especially like our Americanized version of ourselves. Like we don't really have community, and I really appreciated going back to like these people actually it's family, but it's more than just family. It's like outside of your family that people actually genuinely care about you and they want to see you like succeed. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. except for like a couple of characters in there that were
Yeah,
dicks.
there were some haters.
But like we said, society. That's just how it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that's we're gonna keep this one short, but I mean, like I said, average at least.
But if you liked it, let us know why you liked it. If you hated it, let us know. But don't be racist. That's the only thing that I will say. I don't want any of that racist shit on this
Yep.
podcast because we're not about that. But yeah, I'm interested to see if anybody didn't like it because that's where I am right now.
So for Predator fans, how do you compare this to others? I felt like it was a good um, addition to the Predator lore. I would like to see what they do in the future, but until then, we will see you guys soon-ish. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think the next episode will be Incantation.
Yes, that was the one we were supposed to do, but we got excited and wanted to watch
Yeah,
Prey
I
just
got
to.
excited for this one.
Also, we don't really do we don't like I feel like we do movies that have been out for a long time, and it was kind of fun. This was I think what I did enjoy. I think it was fun to be putting out an episode right when it's like trending. I think we don't do that, and that's fun. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
was nice to do that now. So because
we'll
I
try
always
to do that more often, but we shall see.
well, it's hard. I mean, we're busy.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
all right, guys, we'll see you guys next week or so. Okay,
Bye.
bye.